Make the ground shake.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host GamerK, and it's not the beginning of July, but it's the start of my videos for the month of July, and oh boy, it looks like we're going to be having a rainy season in Canada. So, for these videos, basically I just picked a good number of videos I want to do, stuff I haven't done a lot of this year, things I just started this year, and continuing forward. And for this week, I gotta bring in the Valhalla because we're going forward into Ireland with the first DLC release, Wrath of the Druids for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And I got my little notes here. And for once, I was excited for a DLC from Assassin's Creed. Because looking back on the ones from Odyssey, yeah, there was a lot to be desired, a little bit. I'll get to those ones in the next year, possibly. But one thing I was really looking forward to was, once again, what they really do, a variety of in the DLCs of Assassin's Creed, is change of location a little bit. Okay, they really only did that in a couple of the DLCs, but you get the idea. We're going into a new location, new map, new story, and honestly, I was excited for it. But does the heart of the Valhalla come forth in this DLC? Let's get to it. For obvious reasons, I will be ranking this based on a length, enjoyment, story, side quests, and basically everything a DLC comes wrapped up, and how different is it from the original game. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that okay, well, to start off, Wrath of the Druids has not much of a cohesive story. I'm gonna say that out right now, because if I don't get to that, I think I'm gonna forget it. The DLC starts off with getting a merchant, I believe, merchant who's missing an eye, coming on to the dock of Ravensthorpe, and I gotta admit, it's not the weakest way to get us out of a location, saying that Eivor's cousin is a king now of Dublin and requests a meeting with us. So we head off to Ireland. In all honesty, really enjoyed the Ireland map. We got the nice green pastures in some areas. We got the nice mountains and nice rocky terrain. And a good number of, never mind. Dublin's basically the only city that we actually get in this. So, searching through stuff, through big cities and huge castle areas. Yeah, no. We get one town and it's pretty barren, basically. So the story is that he needs to get favor from the other rulers of this world, of the land, and requests Eivor's help, especially with the help with helping his son become a king. And I'm going to say this right now, the story does not build very well. It honestly doesn't. So going a little into the analytics so far, the map of Ireland is pretty vast. Not as vast, obviously, as the main map in England and Norway. We get three sections that divide up Ireland. And honestly, they're pretty fun to explore. I mean, there's not that much different in terrain. Like how in the original game we had the swamp areas, we had the island areas, we had the frozen land areas. We got a variety, but here again, it's just the green, rocky pastures of Ireland, and honestly, I enjoyed it. there is 23 main missions throughout the game, and honestly, that's a good amount, and some of them kind of are lengthy. And one thing I loved about the new missions that came up from Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, the missions aren't like so quick to be finished like in the old games, but they are pretty lengthy and honestly give good dialogue and good supplements for the story. It isn't until later that we are introduced to some of the other characters in the game, and some of them are pretty on the nose of what they're going to be. And then the character Chara, who's the female new character that we meet, the red-headed Scottish bard. And honestly, yeah, she's a fantastic character. She's got the sass and the snark that a lot of female characters have. And yeah, obviously, because of this game, there is an option to romance her. And actually, only her, if I recall. Man, they're really dumbing it down a little bit now in these DLC. Now, a big thing in this story is getting favor with the kings. Now, you think... And also, going into his cousin's hall, there is a map with all the pieces like there was in Ravensthorpe in the game. Whenever we did like the main missions and we'd go and forge alliances with people, I was thinking that's what we would be doing by gaining favor from the kings, going to their own individual, not kingdoms, because there's not much kingdoms going on in this area, but their own domain, their own territory, and helping them with a problem. But then we get into the main threat of the game, where they're advertised, but they're done so little. The children of Danu, who are the... Okay, they're not related to the Order of Ancients, which honestly sucks. They're basically the Cult of Cosmos from Odyssey, and it's... So basically, they're a bunch of Druids who want to return their religion to being the dominant one of Ireland, instead of the Christians and the pagans, or I can't remember all the religions, or anything like that, the Gaelic. So basically, it's all about the Cult of Cosmos again, through corruption and misleading people in order to bring back the olden days. And we get 10 of them to do. We get 10 children of Danu to hunt, and I'm gonna say this, only 4 of them are story related, where you find them throughout the story. And the final one, like once you finish them all and you figure out who it is, honestly, meeting the character in the beginning, I knew it was going to be this person from the start. I'm not giving away for reasons. But even, I know I'm good at detective stuff and I'm kind of seeing where the plot's going to go. But even I knew that it was going to be too obvious. That's like saying Voldemort is the bad guy in Harry Potter, and people looking at him like, oh no, he's not going to be a villain. Wow. So basically, the children of Danu pose very little threat. And this is the part that really pisses me the heck off. They're going back to what they did in Odyssey. Once you kill them, they even do the animation when the blade goes through their neck, their head, their gut, their stomach, their heart. They do the animation, but we don't get to talk to them. It's boring. Even hunting down the other... Okay, so 4 are story-related. So only 3 are really story-related, minus the final guy. So the other 6, we locate them via... obviously finding the clues and hunting them down. One I found by accident. This is how lame they are. They're lame. If I could find one by accident just by exploring, and some of their stories are well written, I would have loved to see them be in the story. be in the main story. I mean, there's one who's burning fields. There's some who wear the creepy masks and have actual abilities and poisons and everything. And they could have used them in the story more. But we don't even get to talk to them in the White Room sections that I was so happy that Valhalla brought back. I was so giddy. But in this, it's just like an Odyssey. You kill them, no transition, no talking to them, no understanding their methods or their motivations. And it just takes what a great part of the Assassin's Creed series does and turns it into a chore. Not so much of a chore like in Odyssey, because there's only 10 of them, but it still takes away from the feel of it. Oh, God. And it doesn't come like maybe an hour into the game later, where the children of Danu finally come up. And I'm going to say this, as the story goes, it's still pretty good. Like, there's not that much to really do. I mean, we get to help our one-eyed friend get revenge on the guy that took his eye later in the game. So, like I was saying before, part of this game is, and they make a point of this, to gain notoriety with the kings by helping them. So, you'd think this would be each king has their own problems and we would have to figure out different ways of handling it. And maybe there's a Children of Danu, kind of like how the main game, we help out people. We may get a Order of Ancients member. We may not. I really enjoyed that, how it wasn't always Order of Ancients. But here's the thing, guys. All we do is generic shit for 3/4 of the game. We steal items back that were stolen, find certain people to kill the bandits, and then they have the audacity to put in the side objectives bar. You remember how in the old Assassin's Creed games where if we do things a certain way, we get extra rewards or synchronization? Yeah, hasn't been done the whole game. Hasn't been done in the entire game of Valhalla. But for this DLC, they bring back those to increase your rewards. Like, no unnecessary kills. Do not get hurt. Do not get spotted. It's like they're intentionally making this harder for you so it will feel like it's going for longer. Which sucks. It really sucks. Even looking for these stones that unlock a sacred ancient armor or shield at the end. No, it's not worth it's not worth the adventure, the hassle. The only cool thing though is that we do get the twin sickles, which honestly I really love the sickle weapons. I really do love them. And so, okay. And the story is basically a battle between the Christians and the pagans of Vikings and the Gaelics and everything. It's just a big melting pot conflict. And so, okay, the main story is about 7 hours long, 7.5 hours. The whole game is about 14.5 hours if you're doing everything, and completionists will take about 19.5 hours. And also, yeah, another thing we do in this game is, aside from hunting the Children of Danu and the main mission, there are trade posts in the area where we will have to liberate them, find the guy with the map, with the paperwork, upgrade said trade posts, go back to Dublin, purchase up, send out shipments throughout Dublin to level it up, and that's basically it. Also, I mean, there are cool tattoo designs to find throughout the game, which I really enjoy, finding all these Celtic tattoos to inspire on Eivor. And also they added in like the new hairstyles, which I really enjoy. I mean, customizing is great. But and you're probably thinking, well, this is Assassin's Creed. The DLC are always chock full of stuff to do. So how are the side missions? You know? I mean, do we get to meet new people on island and build paths and go on crazy, stupid adventures and do tasks for people? No! There are no side missions in this game. There are zero. Absolutely no side missions. So all we do, Children of Danu, boring main story, built to doing trade posts, doing bland, repetitive objectives, and raise Dublin's notoriety. That's basically it, outside of a couple things. Like, there is one legendary animal where it's a huge tusked boar, but even I beat that quickly. And there's also 2 Drengr fights in order to do, which, all honesty, they are pretty cool to do, and the terrain that they are in is very cool too. But no side missions in an Assassin's Creed game. That's like playing Call of Duty, but you can't shoot anything. That's what people go in for. The side missions in Valhalla were some of the greatest ones I've seen in them since Origins. The stories were compelling. The characters, you actually gave a damn. And doing it all, and it just made you feel like you were an actual character. But no side missions? And because there's only like one town and a couple villages all over, there's no flighting to do, there's no Orlog, there's no mini games whatsoever. But they do bring back those offering altars and like of stone, you know, where you have to give them a certain amount of food or material, and in order to give you a skill point to level up. Yeah, who plays Assassin's Creed for foraging, hunting, and basically giving your stuff away? It's boring. It really is half the time. However, the one thing I can give this game a little bit of a boost on is the ending, where we actually get to choose the outcome of the surprise villain twist, and I'm happy I picked to spare the final person, and the battle was pretty awesome. And obviously we got some indication of, you know, the ones that came before and everything, and something with that, all that jazz. One thing though I did enjoy was after you do the Children of Danu and you collect these stones from them, you bring them to the witch woman, and you get the secret boss with this Balor god who looks freaking creepy as heck, and just fighting him honestly was the biggest rush I got out of this entire DLC. And once you beat him, you get his like electric spear weapon, which honestly I think I'm gonna be using into the next DLC, because oh my god, it's just so cool. It's really awesome. And again, I'm still bagging on it that they didn't do missions to gain favors like in the main game. I mean, this game is about 19 hours. You think you could have put some actual effort and not just make us do the exact... No, seriously, in a good part of the game, you have to do more favors for the kings, and it's literally the exact same stuff you did before. So, rinse and repeat. And it's annoying because there's nothing else to do in this world. So, all honesty, I did enjoy this DLC. I really did. But they built up so much hype on the Children of Danu that they eliminated the fact that they're barely a focus of the main game, or the main story for that matter. And the big surprise reveal of the leader, all honesty, if I could see it from a mile away, a lot of people should too. I mean, going to Ireland was supposed to be cool. But having basically everything in Dublin and the other areas being somewhat empty-ish with no form of with no side missions, no actual input with the main story, the children of Danu being eliminated as fast as the cult of Cosmos, it just feels like they didn't put the effort that they did into the other games. And for once, this wasn't like a 3-episode series from Odyssey, which, all honesty, I kind of like that I didn't have to wait a good number of months before continuing. But still, you could have done something more with this, and this was just a big letdown. So, Gamer K's final verdict for a Valhalla DLC, Wrath of the Druids, is a miserable but slightly okay 6 out of 10. I'm giving it the 6 because as much as the story disappointed me, some of the characters kind of gave me a laugh and a little bit of enjoyment. The secret boss in the end was honestly the most epic part of this entire DLC. But going through it all, at least they didn't do something generic like the Benedict Arnold DLC or anything lame like that. They did what they could. In all honesty, I really hope Paris gives us something better in the next couple months. And that's it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and join me next week where we're getting a little bit greedy and everything's going to come in threes. This is Gamer K, logging out.